Hi. So in the last video I talked about how I made this weapons loot system. So when we press an interactive key, for example a pickup key, I used here new input system. So here I have this my pickup here pickup input. So when I press it, it picks up the nearby item. So we can see if we go here, this is the player input bridge script that contains all the input related information and callbacks, and also all these things. Very simple, very uh, fundamental thing. So let's see, when we press the pickup input, it will fire an up input event, pickup input, and this item user is listening to it there. So that's how it's picking up the item nearby. But what about the UI? First of all, the UI is controlled by loot UI script, which is nothing but just takes a toggle inventory input and then toggle it on off. That's all. And just for a heads up, I use these event channels. So these event channels are nothing but they just help in decoupling. For example, this is the event channel base. It takes any kind of type. It's generic, takes any type, and it raises event. It can also set a value. It can also raise just a normal event, or it can raise an event with a value, or it can set a value and raise an event. I use them in different places, but if I go and have, for example, bool event channel also, so it will just take the bool and it now can pass a bool value. This is how I made all these events that I have here. So that also we don't need the subscribers to know about the observers. That's normal for any event, but here the observer also don't need to know about the subscriber. And so this is a two-way decoupling. Now when I press play, how the items are coming. So this is vicinity slot and this is inventory slot, just like in PUBG. When I'm nearby an item, the nearby items will be appearing in the vicinity slot. How? So this is controlled by inventory UI slot, inventory UI script. Here we can see in its update method, we are actually refreshing and displaying the scan collectibles. What it does, if we go here, it first checks if the toggle item is not on, that means the UI is not visible, then it doesn't do anything. It returns, and if it's on, then it will go collect the collectibles from the item user hand, and these collectibles are stored in item user hands through scan nearby items. You can see it does a spear cast and scans it. So once those items are stored, this inventory UI will go through each of them and will check if that item is already present in the slot. If it's yes, then continue, otherwise just create a new item. And to create the new item, what it does, there is an object pool, and it gets item UI prefab from the pool, and it set the data and then make it the vicinity's parent. So there are two parent, one is this one is this one. As we can see here, this is the vicinity content, this is the inventory content. So if an item UI, this rectangular thing is item UI, if it goes inside this, then it will be like this, and if this, as we can see, and if any item UI go inside this, then it will be just like this. You can see it changed. Okay, these have their own slots. Let's let's see here, and there we go, it changed. We can see it that now this is the energy drink item UI, and it has a text energy drink. So yeah, that's how they kept changing. So this one is suppressor AR. Let's see. Yeah. So when I will drag this here, this item UI will just go inside this parent, this one, and that's what this script controls. Let's see. Set parent vicinity. So this is how here everything is created, and once they are created, that's all, it's done. Now if we drag one thing, so this each of item UI have their own item UI script, and this item UI implements this for interfaces. So more these interfaces, ispawnable interface says to the spawnable items that if an item is spawnable, then you inherit from it, and the pool manager will understand that this is a spawnable item. So it takes, once it's spawned, then if we drag something, it happens, it drags, and this item UI changes parent to canvas transform the main here. Why? Because when we are dragging, we want it to be on top of everything, we don't want it to go under something, so that's why it changes parent to stay in top of everything. And after that, on drag it stays with the mouse cursor, and then on drop, this is where the main thing happens. So we can either drop above another item UI or this empty place, and this empty place is actually not empty. If we go here, we will see that it's a slot UI. Yeah, we can see it's also an UI which has its own script and drop handler. So something can drop in here, and it will check if that thing has an item UI component. If yes, then it will do something. So for example, when we picking this up and we are dropping it in this slot, then the item slot UI will tell that something has dropped in me and it's an item UI. Or if we drop it above this item UI, then item UI script will say that hey, another item UI has dropped on me. Let's see, here we go on drop, and it's the same thing on item UI dropped on slot type. Now slot type is, as these two are very similar, so I made them in the same script, and this one is vicinity. One second. So yeah, so when this one is here, then the slot type is vicinity, and when this one is here, the slot type is inventory. The slot type is the slot type of these. We can see it here. So yeah, item slot UI, this is vicinity, and this slot UI is inventory. And so once an item UI will stay here, it will be in this vicinity, and once an item UI will stay in here inside inventory, it will become inventory item UI. Now we go here, so on drop, for example, we dropped on another item UI or item slot UI, it will go into inventory UI. So this is like a mediator that takes care of all the item UIs and inventory UIs that are dropped or not. There we pass it, and then we do some checks. If this inventory already, like this item UI already have a like same, for example, we picked it up and then we drop it again, so then nothing will happen, just it will change its sibling index, but other than that nothing will happen. We don't do anything because it was already there, So that's what the check is. So if the dropped item UI has a stored slot type and that's the same thing, then don't do anything, return, because neither we are dropping nor we are picking up anything. But if it's not same, then we check if the slot type where the dropped item UI is dropped, it's in inventory, then we fire this or we fire this. Let's consider that we dragged something from vicinity to inventory, then we will fire this one, item UI dropped from vicinity to inventory. And when here comes, we check that it has a stored item, yes, and try store and collect, because we want to collect it. So again it will just go just like last video, it will go there, it will try store and collect itself, and once done inside inventory, it will go try store. Here it comes in inventory, it stores itself, and then it fires an event, raise this event. And meanwhile, when it will return a success, then we will release the item UI to the pool. So the item UI that we actually had it in vicinity, it will be released to the pool, and a new item UI will be created here. How is that happening? So this one is released to the pool, you can see it in here, and this is how it's releasing, resetting its data and releasing it. And what about the item UI that is getting created? Then the vicinity one got destroyed. What about this one? Well, it's listening to that inventory item added, the one that got fired here. It's listening. When it happens, it will, you can see, it will do the create another one. So this one is for inventory slot. So we can see the slot type is set to inventory. The before one slot type was set to vicinity. So this is how, just like in this picture, item UI on item UI dropped. When it's dropped, it goes to the slot type and checks the slot type. If it's from vicinity to inventory, then it directly goes to store and collect, and then it goes there, inventory collects, fires an event, and this item inventory UI again listen to that event, and then it creates item UI in inventory slot, which sets the data and shows it. And if we drop something from inventory to vicinity, like we just saw, we drag it and drop it like this, then what it is doing is item UI on item dropped, obviously, either it will drop in another item UI or in the slot. This time, the last time we just did that, it was empty, so it's in the dropped in the slot. So in the slot it drops, and then it goes on slot type, checks the slot type, drop from inventory to vicinity, and then it goes here, and then it try remove and drop the item, and it goes here, it removes it. And if it's success, and this function first drops, removes, and then it drops also. So that's it. And once it's success, then it will release the item UI to the pool and reset item data and hide. And that's why we couldn't see after we drop, we don't see that anymore, and the item is dropped in the nearby place. So yeah, this is the exact thing by which I can pick up all the items. Now for weapon items, I'm modifying the drop and store functions for their own things, like overriding them. So but the basic concept is just this: anything that will come in this inventory from vicinity, such as ammo, painkillers, energy drinks, will have this simple mechanics. This is how it's working, and this is how it's dropping, you can see. I can either drop it here or even on the above another item UI, it will work. I can drop it here or another above another item UI, it will still work. Yeah. Thanks.